Alright guys, so we are starting work on the 330, that's the BMW 330 Ci with the 3.0 inline 6. So here we are, and this one actually doesn't have the clutch fan. The next one that we're going to do, I'm also going to do a video on that one just for reference for people who do have the clutch fan. So this one doesn't have the clutch fan, but I took out the fan shroud, so that's here. If you don't know how to take out the fan shroud, it's incredibly easy. It just kind of slides. It fits down into those little grooves right there. These grooves there on the sides. Right there. And then there's a few little clips, push clips that go here, and then there's a screw that goes there. So that's how that goes. And so first things first, I popped the screws for the water pump already, or for the pulley. And then you release the tension and let the belt off. So I will do that now, and then I will be back in just a moment. We got it off, or we got the screws off. Ugh. I'm gonna have to get a flashlight. So we got the screws off, but it's so rusted that it's kind of stuck on. So we're gonna spray some like thread unlocker to kind of loosen it up. And you want to be careful because it's actually plastic, so it could crack. You don't want to pull on it too hard, then we'll be forced to do the pulley kit. So I will be right back. All right, so here we go. I guess what we can do is kind of turn it just to make sure it gets all in there. And we'll spray all this off with brake cleaner when we're done. Okay, now let's wait for that to do its work and we'll get started on something else. Okay, so the original stock pump is it can be a little difficult to get it out, so you have to really wiggle it and work it, and you have to be careful that you don't pry too hard, because you don't want to damage the engine block. So I got this one on. I wasn't able to record when I was taking the original one off because it was very difficult to get it off. I'll try to find a better setup when we do the next car. So then what I do is I start tightening the bolts slowly, little by little on each side, and I just alternate so that we don't roll that gasket. So you make sure that it's nice and level. I start with 3 bolts. Like I said, just little by little. You don't want to torque it down too tight, too hard, because you might break they're just tiny little bolts, so you'll break them really, really easily. Go. There. There we go. Okay. Nice and tight. It looks good. Okay, so now we got the pulley, and we'll go ahead and put that on. And this is just the BMW stock pulley. I was going to put the Turner Motorsports power pulley kit, but I decided not to. So you just line up the holes. Okay. So once you get one in, the other should be lined up because it centers on the actual pump itself. So this as well, it's not a difficult job at all. I guess if you don't know what you're doing, it could be a little annoying. Alright, so now that we got the pulley on, it's nice and tightened, the pump is tight, I go ahead and I start working on the coolant. So that's obviously overfilled, but we know that there's going to be quite a bit of air coming out of here. My arm is like right in front of your guys' eyeball. So what I do is I will squeeze the hoses. So the little top here, this little thing, it's going down. So we need some more coolant. So you want to be really careful when you're doing this not to pull too hard on the expansion tank, because here is your hose, and if you pull on it when you're squeezing, you can squeeze like I am, but don't pull. Okay, we need more coolant again. So it's just about at max. So let's keep going. You can still hear the air in there. We're almost there. So then I go down to the hose that goes to the thermostat, the bottom hose. Sometimes it'll give you a false reading, that's why I pushed it down so it can glide itself back up. So let's keep this show on the road, gotta keep going. So let me see if I can get myself in position where, okay, there we go. I think we might be okay. See, there's no more air coming out. think we're good. So now we'll just top it off. There we go. I always make sure it's nice and clean. I can't, well, this one was not. I can't tell you how many of these I've had come in and the radiator cap is dirty somehow, and it isn't creating a seal, so it's blowing out out here, and they have a coolant light on and all of that, and that's the scary light for BMW, because that's when you gotta start making repairs. As soon as that coolant light starts coming on, you gotta start fixing stuff. Okay, so that's that. Now we can get the drive belt back on. So, all right, I will put this on fast, or on time warp, so that you guys can watch that way. I know this is getting tedious. All right, so here we are. We're running. Everything looks good. And it's way smoother now after we replaced this as well. So hopefully we'll be good now. There we go. All right, so all that we have left is to put the fan back on. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. I will put you guys on time warp so you can watch that. It's easy. So remember, I said that it just kind of clips, it just kind of like falls in, and that's when it's in all of the clips, you'll know because you'll go to pull it like this, and it won't move. So there's also this clip here that holds it to the radiator. So, electricals. So, you guys probably can't see because it's behind the expansion tank. So this clip here, right behind the expansion tank cap here toward me is a hole that you put it in, and it holds it into place there. So you just push that little clip down, and then also here is a brace. It's hot again today. There we go. We're done.